Hello there, what is going on, everyone? We're going to be taking a look at Moff Gideon for Star Wars Shatterpoint today, a truly impressive character, and it does kind of beg the question, is this possibly a little bit of power creep coming up into the game? He does seem very powerful. I don't know if it's creep or not, but I did kind of use power creep as a headline in the thumbnail for the video. If you've seen the thumbnail and clicked on it, you probably saw that. I feel like it's still appropriate because it serves two purposes. He's so strong, it definitely invites the question of power creep, but also, he is kind of creepy, right? He is a little bit of a power creep, right? Right, come on. I mean, I think it works. I think it works. Thumbs up if you think that it works, or thumbs up if you like dad jokes, because it's kind of a dad joke. Also, I feel like it's appropriate. We're going to take a look at the recent cards that were spoiled from this expansion. Of course, we are also going to have some supports that are Dark Troopers and a Death Trooper as a secondary, it looks like, in this pack. But we don't have much on those. We just have Moff Gideon today. But it does kind of paint a little bit of a picture of what we might expect. And I think this is pretty interesting because we've got a very powerful primary, and some of his abilities paint the picture for what we're going to see, as well as possible costs for these. We are also running a $25 Amazon gift card giveaway. You have just about a day or two left to enter to win that. We're going to be announcing the winner next week. So you have time left to enter to win that. You just have to be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. If you don't win, don't worry. We'll be doing more giveaways, and I'm trying to get back into the spirit of giveaways. We took a little break from those after the holidays because there was a lot of giveaways for the 12 Days of Life Day. And then there was extra giveaways that went over on Patreon. We're going to keep that up as well. So if you are interested in seeing early access to battle reports and some exclusive access and named in the credits and stuff, there's links for Patreon and other social media links down in the video description below. With all that said, let's go ahead and jump in to Moff Gideon. He is an 8 squad point, 3 force point primary unit. He is of, he's of the Rebellion era. He's not going to be able to mix with your Clone Wars characters. He's doing that Age of Rebellion to like New Republic era. So, he is kind of going to be a little bit limited on exactly what you can run him with, which, is an interesting balancing factor. And maybe that is sort of why he might be so potentially powerful, because there's limits to who you can directly pair him with. Of course, you can run 2 of your squads in your strike team, so you can still have some cross era synergy, which I think is pretty cool. Now he is got a really impressive set of credentials here with 10 health, 3 stamina. He is Galactic Empire and Scoundrel, which is always nice to see a little bit of scoundrels showing up. He's got the Smug Determination. Look, he's got 4 abilities and they're all fantastic. Smug Determination is his first one, and this one is nice. So Smug Determination says that at the start of this unit's activation, choose an allied Galactic Empire unit, or character rather, within 4. Each character in this unit and the chosen character may dash. So look, it's first off, this is good on anybody because it's one of those automatic things that happens whenever you activate him, which is awesome. And you're giving extra movement. A lot of characters have something like this. This one isn't game breaking. It's just solid and good. It's something that you want a lot of characters' movement. Moving around is the name of the game. So that's really good. So you can let somebody who's slow move, plus Gideon gets to move with that, right? Each character in this unit and the chosen character. So that's cool. But then you have Long Live the Empire. Now this one's impressive. This one is an action, and it also costs a force point, right? So not the cheapest thing in the world, but there you go. Choose an active objective and an allied Galactic Empire supporting unit. Now, the supporting unit from Moff Gideon, that makes me think Dark Troopers. I think Dark Troopers are going to be slow. I think they're going to be strong, but kind of not long range and slow because of stuff like this. One character in the chosen unit may advance toward the objective, and then the chosen unit suffers 2 damage. If this effect wounds the chosen unit, that unit may remove 1 wounded token, all damage, and 1 condition token from itself. If it does, the unit gains an injured token. So basically, like this is interesting because it means they can go ahead and kind of sacrifice their whole life to be able to contest the objective. Now, this is a really good one. If you like, Moff Gideon kind of wants to move and activate a little bit on the later side of the turn, like when a lot of when it's kind of safe. You don't want to necessarily be moving somebody super close to an objective, taking damage, especially if they're already wounded, and then triggering this when your opponent still has stuff within striking distance of that same objective. You kind of want to move somebody. A lot of times, you want to kind of be safe, and you're like, all right, I know you can only activate one of these 3 guys, so let me go ahead and finally do this now. But if it's going to win you the game, right? Like the fact that you can be like, oh, okay, well they're almost dead. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and do this. They take 2, then they're going to get injured. They're going to have the injured token, which is fine. Of course, it's going to make your force stuff cost more after that, right? But for them, but then they get to contest because they're removing the wounded token. So that's pretty interesting. And I think that's a potentially game-winning move right there, because it's not just a dash, it's an advance. That's like, that's like one of the best movement abilities that exist, and it's usually at the end of a long combat tree or something like that. So, that's a powerful. I believe advance lets you get out of engagement also if you're like tied up in melee with other folks. So that's really strong. That's a really strong, which is why it costs you an action and a force point. Which is why it's an expensive ability to trigger. And so I get that. But that's a good, powerful ability. And it seems to me like it will be magnified with the Dark Troopers, which will probably take excellent advantage of this ability. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some kind of tech built into their card that synergizes very, very well with this card. He also has Assume That I Know Everything. When an opposing player would spend a force to place a unit's order card in reserve, they must spend 1 additional force. This is an always-on ability that, that is just incredible. It just makes your opponent passively pay 1 more force every time they do this, which means if they don't have perfect card draw, they're going to pay out the wazoo for it. Every single time they're going to have to pay an extra force. This is going to consume a lot of your opponent's force over the course of the game, and if they're playing a very force-dependent list, it means they're going to be stuck having to make that choice of either playing with suboptimal activations or running out of force way earlier than they want to. That's a very powerful ability on its own without everything else. And then you have Something I Want, which is also very cool, and it is very remindery of Inquisitor abilities. And it does 2 things, too, which is also very cool. It says, when an allied Galactic Empire character performs a melee attack as part of a combat action, if the defender is contesting an active objective that you do not control, add 1 die to the attack roll. So basically, and there's no range restriction on this, too. He's just, if Moff Gideon's in your list, boom, your other Inquisitors or any of your Dark Troopers or anybody else in your list that's Empire. That's all they have to be is Galactic Empire, which, I don't see Moff Gideon kind of leading rebels. I don't really see that. You could do that. He ain't gonna do anything for you, but but you could do that. It would be weird to do that, wouldn't it? But yeah, I love that you can do that. But yeah, whenever somebody on your team is attacking with melee, and and usually a lot of times you're attacking if you're trying to get control of, basically trying to take an objective, they get extra dice, which is awesome. And then it has it has a whole separate section. Additionally, when determining control of active objective, if that character in this unit is contesting, if there's a tie, this unit's controlling player takes the control of the objective. So he breaks ties. That's incredible. You have Something I Want. He's taking those objectives. This one seems to very much to synergize with Inquisitors. It may also synergize with Dark Troopers. I imagine they'll have a decent melee. So I do expect Dark Troopers not to have like sniper rifles and really, really long range. I expect them to be slow and relatively short range. We do see a lot of their robot punches, and they do have a melee Myrtleizer guy on Star Wars Legion. So I can say, you know, like this definitely seems to be like they'll have a strong melee presence. Which will work there, but I feel like you have something I want also work is, you know, designed to have some synergy with existing Imperial units that will be able to work in the time frame with him. Like you could potentially run him with Inquisitors, which is really cool because you could do, I see it working with both Inquisitors and Dark Troopers. Even though we don't know, I haven't seen the Dark Troopers unit card yet, I just have to imagine, of course, they're going to make him synergize with his own squad pack, but what about cross-pack synergy? You have to be able to look at that as well. And obviously, it'll probably work with Stormtroopers too, but I don't think it would be great with Stormtroopers. Again, he's an 8 squad point cost, which makes you kind of have to... Well, let me go back a little bit here. Let's go back. He costs 8 points, so it also asks you the question, well, what is the Death Trooper going to cost? What's the Dark Troopers going to cost? Is it going to be 4 and 4? Or is it going to be 5 and 3? Are we going to see a 5-point Dark Trooper support? Which would make it really hard to run it anywhere else. I could see that happening. It, you know, wouldn't be impossible, but it would definitely make your choices a lot more difficult if you're dead set on running them. You know, and we'll have to see what else comes out, you know, for the Empire in the future. I am also surprised that we're getting so many Shatterpoint things, right? So there we have Burn Them Out. It's very much a nice pushing card. This one doesn't have as much variety, but yeah, I like that, you know, with 1, 2, or 3 you know, strikes, you know, successes, you're going to be able to push once, at least once, if not twice. And then you can also potentially activate your Long Live the Empire for free here. This one has a little bit more melee focus than self-interest here, which is a little bit more range focus. This is probably the one you'll start out with. By the way, the defensive expertise here can give you a reposition. If you have 4, they're doing different things with expertise here. Well, like look, I mean, look at these expertise charts. These are impressive. And you have a lot of different options here. You also can trigger Long Live the Empire this way as well as get that reposition and heals. And the heals are going to be good because if you're doing Long Live the Empire, you're going to be putting wounds out on people, and he's going to kind of, you know, as long as he's also attacking too, he can make kind of take away some of that damage. So he can kind of control the damage and kind of maybe you want to keep a Stormtrooper or somebody pretty high on the damage but not dead yet, so this way they can go ahead and contest when the time is right and when you need that critical objective to go ahead and take the point and win the round, win the struggle, and push it into overtime, into triple overtime. All in all, he seems very, very strong. My biggest complaint with him is that artwork. I mean, look, I know that they're doing a different art style, but it looks nothing like Giancarlo. It looks like Mad Magazine Moff Gideon to me. It's just so, it looks like it's like a parody of Moff Gideon. I'm not a big fan of the art style. Some of the other characters have a good art style. Like I think the first range of the Clone Wars stuff and the Anakins and the Obi-Wans and stuff like that looked really good. I think they just made him too much of a caricature of himself. You know, it's awkward, a little awkward. I don't know. That's my thoughts. But of course, there will be more. There's a whole lot more coming out at the end of this month. We are in March now, folks. This is pretty cool. Which means at the end of this month, we're going to see Adepticon. We're going to see Worlds for all of the Star Wars games that have World Championship tournaments. We're going to see the studio report from Atomic Mass Games with presumably lots and lots of Marvel Crisis Protocol and Star Wars Shatterpoint news. Maybe a little bit of Star Wars Legion, and who knows if they're even going to talk about X-Wing or Armada. I don't think they are, but you know, whatever they do talk about, we'll be bringing you the coverage because it's an exciting month for gaming. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You are absolutely amazing and help make this whole channel possible. Thank you so much for your continued support. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. Always wash your socks. And this is the way. And wash your socks. And this is the socks. And always wash your way. And this is the socks. And socks, socks, socks. Socksy, socksy, socksy.